people, today is a lovely day here in London. Sunny, probably gonna rain in 5 minutes, but sunny for now. And in this video I'm going to be talking about one of the many reasons why we crash. One of the main reasons why we crash is other drivers don't see us. And there's actually kind of a scientific reason behind why that happens. How many times did you see or experience a crash for the driver to tell you, "Oh, I didn't see you"? Well, most of them were actually not lying, and they probably didn't see you. There's a phenomenon behind this called the Baader-Meinhof effect. So, what is this? Our brain is a very well-oiled machine. So, sometimes we look at things, but even though we see them, our brain tells us not to see them. And why is that? Well, the brain doesn't like new information too much. A lot of you people probably have already experienced that when you start looking for something, so you want to buy a new bike and you are looking at the S1000RR. Suddenly, that bike is everywhere. You can see the bike everywhere. There's billboards, there's this, there's that. There's a reason behind it, is your brain has now programmed itself to kind of look for it. Until now, it was an unfamiliar situation, but from the moment it becomes familiar, then our brain starts to do his little magic. Good example of the Baader-Meinhof effect is the yellow car game that we play when we are kids, or even now, maybe some of you like to play it, which consists in, when you spot a yellow car, you need to shout "yellow car" and punch the people next to you, the person next to you, sorry. So what happened is, yellow cars are quite rare, but when you start playing this game, you realize that there are lots of yellow cars. And this is exactly what your brain does. So your brain programs itself to spot for yellow cars. And suddenly yellow cars are everywhere, when in reality they're not. They're quite rare. And this is the same reason why car drivers sometimes don't see us. So the way it works is, a car driver comes into an intersection and he looks around, but he still pulls out. And that reason is because he wasn't expecting to see a motorcycle. His brain has not been trained to look out for motorcycles. When he had his license, when he took his lessons, his brain has not been programmed for that. So his brain is always expecting to see a car. Therefore, he looks around, he doesn't see any car, he pulls out, we crash. This is his fault, but it's also his brain that told him that nothing is coming. Even though you were there, his brain told him no information is coming, no car is coming, you just pull out. And then you crash. I'm gonna give you a couple of examples. One that happened with a pedestrian that basically exemplifies what I'm saying. And another one that happened with a car that if I wasn't paying attention, then I probably would have crashed against this car. And maybe this will open some people's eyes, car drivers, motorcyclists, to be a little bit more careful with how we ride and what are we looking at. Notice how I turned the indicator on. Notice how the lady with the red arrow is looking back to see if someone is coming, but her brain is telling her to look for cars and not for motorcycles. Still looking. Still crossed without realizing I was coming, because like I said before, she was expecting to see cars, so the brain switched off for motorcycles. Now let's look at another situation which could prove deadly. Car actually stalled because he had no idea I was there. I bet he looked but was victim of the Baader-Meinhof effect. In this case, if I was not expecting him not to see me, then I would have probably hit him, as he only stopped because he saw me stopping. People often don't see you, not because they don't see you, but because their brain tells them not to. As a motorcyclist, you are one of the most vulnerable road users, so have this in mind and always play safe and assume that other drivers will not see you, mainly at intersections. And if you are a car driver, remember to ask yourself, is there a motorcycle coming? Teach your kids to count motorcycles, they will immediately spot them. Ride safe, guys.